It's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, are you with me? Are you ready to roll? We are live. A little bit late today. Not late to the studio, but late to get the headset on and get the YouTube set up and get everybody going. I see the bricklayers. They see me. You can watch the show live. See the Raider gear that I have on today. Kind of a cool shirt from the Raiders. I actually was over at the Raiders team store this morning when they were closed. My buddy Tom Lydon came outside. I bought, with my discount, I bought 2 Fred Biletnikoff jerseys. One for me and one for a live auction item that I'm going to. I'm going to see Freddie Biletnikoff here in a few hours. He's in town with his wife, Angela Biletnikoff, and we have the Biletnikoff crab feed at the Westgate tomorrow. Hint, hint. All the Raider big people will be at the Westgate tomorrow night for the big Fred Biletnikoff. And this is great. The crab feed, if you've never been to the crab feed, you should have bought a ticket. You still possibly can. Go to biletnikoff.org. But it's going to be pretty cool. Everyone from the owner goes, Marcus Allen, Rod Woodson, Tim Brown, Phil Villapiano. I mean, it's Raider royalty, Jim Plunkett. A lot of cool people come there, and it's all you can eat crab. And I don't know if you're into crab or not, but if you're gonna be into eating crab, you got to be into it. You got to put the bib on. You got to wash your hands when you're done. You can't sit around and just shake everyone's hands. If you're going to eat at the crab feed, or you don't know this JT trivia, I MC a lot of events. I don't eat at weddings, and I don't eat at events like this. I don't. I definitely are at the bar. I will have a Tito's or a Modelo, but I don't go to public events to eat. I'm not a guy that when I go, I do plenty of damage on my own at the places I like to go eat. But when I go to big events and I'm wearing a suit or a coat, I'm not the guy who sits at the table waiting for the server to come by with the meal. I'm the guy moving around. But man, there's going to be a lot of people eating crab tomorrow night. Dungeness crab. Angela and Fred work on this for a long time, man. They get really crab legs flown in. So you got to have the cracker. You got to crack the crabs. You got the butter. You do all that. And then that's tomorrow night, which is really cool. Saturday, I was invited from one of my best friends, Todd Parmalee, Joe Haro, Steve Stallworth. Put out the bat light for all those guys. I'm going to go see UNLV football tomorrow. I'm going to see UNLV football. I'm going to go, it's not Saturday, excuse me. I'm going to go see the UNLV Rebels play football. They're undefeated. They're in town and they're undefeated. The Golden Knights are not undefeated. They opened up last night and lost. They had a 5-3 lead late. I'm looking up. I was out with a buddy of mine. I'm going, whoa. We're up 5-3 and then we lose 6-5. Wait a second. In hockey, you're not up 5-3 and lose 6-5. That doesn't happen in hockey, especially to the Kings. A little bit shocked by that. And then my Yankees lost. I'm cranky Yankee. My wife told me last night, go walk around the block. I said, no, I'm going to go have a cigar. I'm going out. So she said, normally when the Yankees lose, I have to walk around the block. No, I did. I went out. I didn't drown my sorrows because it was a work night. We had to do TV today over at the Raiders. Finished Raiders rundown earlier today. But, yes, my Yankees are out, which means I'm going to lose. Ready for this? I'm going to lose 3 weeks of the love of my life, the Yankees, and watching them with my father in Florida. I'm going there for the bye week with my sons, with my friends. So it's like the Raiders when they lose. Or if the Raiders, saying if, because I'm positive guy, right? JT the Brick, you're a homer guy, right? That's what you call me a few years. I'm positive we can still win some games. But, man, when you get eliminated like the Yankees, it's a cut. You're done. And I'm not a big fan of watching the Mariners and the Blue Jays. And that's going to be 2 weeks. It'll be best of 7. So if Detroit doesn't come back and we're watching the Mariners or the Blue Jays for 7 days, 7 games, if it goes 7, that's 2 weeks. That's miserable for me because I won't watch it. I mean, I'll watch it for my job, but I won't be invested in it. So that's what we got going. Please sign up for our YouTube channel right now. It takes less than 5 seconds. Just go to YouTube, find JT the Brick in the search. You'll see the channel there, JT the Brick YT. Please become a subscriber for free as we're getting to a certain number now that I'm proud of here. But a lot of these podcasters have bigger numbers because I have a radio show. This is kind of like my second or third thing, but I'm really liking it now because I can read here. I can read what's happening in the chat. Most of it's been pretty negative. And that's the focus all week of the monologue, brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue. 5 to 7, midnight to 2, the best happy hour in town. Every time I start the show, I started with PTs, as they own the Strat. Great place to watch sports, go to a show, go to the top of the world restaurant, go on the rides at the top, which I think will blow you away. So in my career with being with the Raiders, there's been a lot of negativity over the last 20 years, and they've been trying to fix the negativity. The way they go out and fix the negativity is they bring in new people. And that's the only way they're going to do it, because Raider Nation will not let any growth come naturally. Raider Nation won't allow that. Raider fans now will not allow the natural process, even of a legend in Pete Carroll, to kind of put in his program. Remember Pete kept saying in the summer when he kept saying, well, the program, and what was that meant? And I told you, it's like college. He's building a program. He's going to try to recruit players here. He's going to try to get best players here, keep the players that he likes. And then the program will be built on the core values of Pete Carroll. Ari, can you believe that there are people on God's green earth that really think they know more than Pete Carroll about football? OMG. Oh, my God.
Yes.
Holy blank. Do you believe there are young men in their 20s and 30s and 40s who think they know more about football, the sport of football, than Pete Carroll? That's what I'm dealing with. But part of my job, part of my job requirement is to understand those people and give them a platform. And that's what we're here to do. So as I open up the show, I want to remind you, you don't know anything compared to Pete Carroll. But you know that Pete's going through a tough time. You know that. Believe me, I know you know that, because you're flying in on social media reminding Pete that he's 1-4. I thought I had a great interview with him yesterday. I put it up there, and people are like, can you just watch the interview, please? I don't ask you for anything. I'm not selling T-shirts and popcorn. I just ask you to look at my content and listen to it. Is it bad that I asked the coach about the quarterback and the struggle and all that? It wasn't perfect enough. Does it have to be perfect? Well, the perfection from our listeners is for me to be angry and get arrested on site and get taken out by a cop. That would fuel some people here. That's not going to happen. We're just listening to the coach to figure out what the hell is going on here. And we're just trying to give you as much content as we can. You don't have to love all the content that we do. But I do a TV show with Eric Allen and Lincoln Kennedy. I think it's really good. All I do is traffic cop it. And we interview some people, and we try to get through that. Baron Davis has a new show, Talk of the Nation. He's interviewing everybody from hip-hop artists, NBA players, just to have fun, give you some new content. Raider fans, you know Baron Davis, a big Raider fan. He got Boogie Cousins on. He's going to have Max Crosby on, just to give you some content. Can you look at the content, or are you so furious at the record that you won't even look at your team's content? I don't know. I help produce some of it and perform with some of it, and I think it's pretty good overall. It's different than a podcast or an angry podcast show. It's a little bit more buttoned up, right? A little bit more buttoned up, and this is JT the Brick Raw. This is where you do get to see me snap. This is where you do get to watch me blow up my mind. This is where you will actually see me get frustrated, because I am frustrated. And I'm very frustrated now because I know what's happening. But I've said that overall, it's like a broken record. Like this week, I talked to the owner off the record, interviewed the head coach. I text with Max. I talked to a few other people, Fred Biletnikoff, Phil Villapiano. We all have these conversations. Everybody's frustrated. Everyone wants to win games. So how are you going to win this game with Tennessee? That's what we're going to talk about today. So here is the breaking news. Breaking news. This is the Titans Super Bowl. I found out today this is the Titans Super Bowl. So I said, do tell. They said, Reggie McKenzie, Dave Ziegler, former Super Bowl coach Bill Callahan, his son, Ryan, who's the head coach, grew up a Raider, and their offensive coordinators, all former Raiders. This is their Super Bowl. They get to play in Las Vegas, under the lights of Las Vegas, where Bruno Mars performs and Lady Gaga, and the world comes to Vegas. You don't think this is the Titans Super Bowl? It's their bleeping Super Bowl. Not in Arizona, where they were gifted the game by a crazy, crazy play where a guy gave up the ball at the 1 foot line, or I heard it explained beautifully. I don't know who said it, so I want to make sure I'm not stealing this. So I'm saying ahead of time, I don't know who said this. Someone said that he never saw a game be lost on the other team getting the interception. Arizona got the interception. The player who got the interception wasn't touched. So remember, if he got the interception and was tackled and the ball came out and he didn't even get touched, he intercepted the football, stood up and dropped it, and Tennessee recovered in the end zone and won the game. Won the game. They're coming in. And that was Arizona. Arizona hosts some Super Bowls. They have some nice events there. It's not Vegas. So here's what we got to deal with now. The Tennessee Titans are treating this game like the Super Bowl. Reggie McKenzie, Dave Ziegler, Bo Hardigree, remember him? Right? All the other people that used to work for the Raiders, this is their Super Bowl. Now, they're not going to play in the game, but they're going to be in the press box hoping to win this one. Believe me, if they win this game, their locker room will celebrate like it's the Super Bowl. We got to stop that. They're not a very good team, but they deserve to be respected because we're not a very good team now. I think we're a better team than a lot of other teams out there. I thought we were better than Chicago. I think we're better than Tennessee. I think we can hang with a lot of teams here, but we're not better than a lot of teams. This is a team we're better than on paper. Even the bet noses, the Vegas Sharps thinks the Raiders are better than a field goal in this game at home. You should. You get a field goal for playing at home. So if the Raiders were any good, like at the level with Vegas, they'd be a 6 or 7 point favorite. So it's not a pick'em game, but it's close to a pick'em game. And the Raiders have to win this game. But, what does it mean that JT the Brick said the Raiders have to win the game? You're going to clip that and put it up there with a title on Twitter? JT the Brick says Twitter. Twitter says they have to win the game. We all know they have to win the game. I don't know what it'll look like and sound like on Monday if the Raiders don't win this game. That'll even be new for me. And I went through the Josh McDaniels era. I went through the Lane Kiffin era. I went through a lot of the Dennis Allen era. I went through a lot of eras around here that weren't good. I'm hoping that this team kicks ass and plays well and has a really good game. But if also what I've said, and I don't think I need to apologize for this, but as a season ticket holder, when was the last time someone go in the chat? When was the last time we won a home game? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? When was the last time we won at Allegiant Stadium? I'm a season ticket holder. Look at this. Phil Villapiano calling me right now. Hold on a second. Fu, I'm on the radio. Can I call you back in a little bit?
Call me back, JT. I'm back home, so.
All right. I got to get back on the radio. Love you, man. I'll talk to you. I'll see you in a little bit. Look at that. That's cool radio. Phil Villapiano live calling me. Fu, yes. So as a season ticket holder, I want to enjoy the game. I want to enjoy the game. I want to stand up and see touchdowns. I want to see, bombs for touchdowns. I want to see Max Crosby sacks. I want to see all this. I'm a season ticket holder. You and I deserve to see quality football, a good played football game because we're paying big prices to go see the team play and entertain us. I was saying, Ari, in the last 10 days, I've seen Paul McCartney, Earth, Wind, and Fire. They played halftime of the Raider game. I saw Motley Crue. I saw America. I've seen like 4 or 5 musical acts in 10 days. They're all pretty good. You know why? Because all of the individual acts that I saw perform concerts knew they were in Vegas and they had to have a great show. No disrespect to Ames, Iowa, and Toledo, but these acts came to Vegas. It's a little bit different. They ramp it up a little bit more. Sound check's a little bit more important. That's what we need to do with this game. So someday I'll come in and all the lines will be filled on the phone lines, and then I'll quit. I swear I'll quit. You want to play a game with me and hold me accountable? I will quit and retire the day I come in here and the phones are packed. That's why I have to remind you I'm here for the next hour and 45 minutes to talk to you. I could be the Raider therapist. I could be the Bricktator. I could be your friend. I just want to win the game. 702-365-9200. Are you coming into town? It's a big weekend. UNLV football, the Bolitnikov crab feed. I forgot this. Eric Allen's getting his Hall of Fame ring at halftime. How's that for a ceremony? Eric Allen and his wife and his kids are going to be on the 50-yard line with his gold jacket. And I hope he wears it to the torch. And I got lucky. I got invited to a private event with the Allen family on Saturday night. And it's a big weekend for EA. So if everybody, get your drink and beverage before halftime, maybe at the 2-minute warning, and then go support Eric Allen. in your seats for halftime, and he'll get his Pro Football Hall of Fame ring. Man, you ever see those things? Those are gorgeous. The Raiders, Al Davis, always wanted everybody to have the best Super Bowl ring, the biggest and best. And they do, those who have it. Eric didn't. Eric's never won a Super Bowl. Eric did not win a Super Bowl in Philly or the Raiders. This will be his Pro Football Hall of Fame ring. I consider him like a brother. I love the guy, and I can't wait for that. So if you come to the Torch, come wish Eric well. And it's a big weekend for him, and no one does it like the Raiders. Nobody does it like the Raiders. I mean, I'm talking about these other teams that have their ring ceremonies. They don't do it like the Raiders, so that'll be pretty special here. So the last thing I want to talk about before we hear from you, 702-365-9200. Today's the key to the game. Tomorrow's the score. Tomorrow is when people already call me and say Raiders are going to win 38-14, and the Raiders haven't scored over 24 points in how long? But I want to hear that. I want to hear people thinking that Geno's going to get going. I wanted to open up with Cam Ward. He's the number 1 pick overall in the draft. He hasn't been great this year, but he's pretty good. Eric Allen and Lincoln Kennedy and Kirk Morrison, they all broke down some tape with him. If you give him a clean pocket, he will pick you apart. But he likes to run. Now, do you know I spent all week telling you that I think Geno needs to run more? Let me tell you a little secret behind the scenes. This is going to bother some people. The reason I did that was to not be negative about Geno. There's too much negativity. So I can come in here and repeat the obvious, 9 interceptions. 9 interceptions is awful. It is god-awful to lead the entire league of the NFL in the Shield in interceptions. That's like the one thing you can't do. He's doing it. So the way I'm trying to make it positive is to come up with how to make Geno better. And the last thing I have, because I don't have, let him sit in the pocket, he's throwing it to the other team. He's throwing it to the other safety in a clean pocket. I can't say get the ball out quickly. Did you see when he threw it to the Colts? That quick interception to the Colts to 2 guys? Let's throw that out. The only thing I have left in my JT the Brick bag of tricks, the last thing I got, the bag's empty. I ran through everything, is run, Geno, run. Run, Forrest, run. Just run. Just run, Geno. 3rd and 6, pocket breaks down. You do a Tim Tebow at Florida. You just run straight ahead and you look for some contact. You run someone over. You want to get out of bounds? Go get out of bounds. You got to run, Geno. And if Chip Kelly can please move the pocket for Geno, which means, listen to me, very important, sprints. Not moving the pocket because the defensive ends can run with him. I'm talking sprinting to the right. Hut gets it, sprints to the right sidelines, stops, sets his hips, line drive to Brock if he plays, or Trey Tucker, first down. That's all I got. My bag is empty. I've run out of how to, in my mind, fix this. So that's what I want to do. I want to find from you, and you're all on vacation. You're all checked out. So I got to bring you back in. That's my job. I'm great at that. You're all checked out right now. You're checked out. Ari's just looking at me like, no one's here, JT. It's just you. You're all checked out. I got to get you in because we need to know what the game plan should be. I don't need your score. I don't need that. We can do that tomorrow. How do the Raiders win this game is what I normally do on Thursday. We have Vince Sapienza from Fox 5. He's a Raider insider. Golden Knights lost last night. Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports. Lee Sterling going to give you 3 games for free coming up at 12:45. And then Wasted Talent, the podcaster who's blowing up in Raider Nation. He's one of those straight shooter guys I talk about. He's a straight shooter. And he's going to tell you what he thinks. And he's going to be ready to go. Thor, you're the only one here today. If I owned a bagel store, I would have made 400 bagels, and you would have been the only one to buy a bagel and cream cheese today. So I really appreciate you. Thor and Summerlin, what's the game plan for the Raiders to win this game?
JT, what's happening, my brother? Plan is don't turn the ball over. The game plan is run the football. The game plan is pick off the ball when Cam Ward throws it to you, and don't fumble it back to him. Get it back, score touchdowns. JT, I mean, what hope do we have after last week? That's what hope we have that it was just last week. Get these last few weeks out of your system, turn it around. I mean, I mean, it hurts. Yes, it does. It might take a day or two to get over it, but we got to get over it and move on, JT. This team is too good to be playing this bad. I mean, I feel blessed that we have to play Tennessee right now, who we really should beat. So let's go out and beat them. Run the football, pound the ball, but not pound it, but I mean pound it by continue to run it. Get Genty out in space. Let him get free and get big chunks of yardage. Take a couple of deep shots, and you have to take advantage. Spino has to stop pressing. I feel like we finally have a really winnable game here. We finally have an opportunity to get a win and maybe start turning things around a little bit. Winning cures all, right? Winning cures all. Win a game, JT. It's definitely doable. I'm Raider Nation's upset. It's okay to be upset, but stop being like soft and whatever. We're Raider Nation. We're here to represent. We're here to show up, and we're here to be about it. If you're not, don't come out. That's where I'm at, Jake.
Yeah, Thor, thank you, brother. I'll see you out there. I'll see you at the tailgate. I'm not in the business where I'm ever going to tell fans not to go or not to hope that they win a game. Even if the team's losing at this level, there's always an opportunity to play better and win a game. That's where I'm at right now. I'm really excited about that, actually. It's not fake. I'm really excited for the team to stop losing and winning. I mean, that's like fourth grade stuff, Ari. I mean, I won't say that again. I really want to see the team win. I don't care how they do it. I said I'd like to see a fun game with a lot of explosive points. I'll take a 14, 13, 17, 16 win because if the Raiders win to get the 2 wins, no one else in the division is doing much else. Man, that win for Denver was so big because Denver should have lost to Philadelphia, and Denver would be right there with us after we beat the Titans. We'd be right there with Denver. The Chargers have lost back-to-back games. Kansas City is more beatable. Not saying we're going to beat them, more beatable than they've been in the last 6-7 years. But if we can get this Titans game, we the Raider Nation, we got something to build on. I did say that after Chicago. We lost that game 25-24. That should have been a game that not only did the Raiders win, but then they would have had momentum because they would have won it. Remember what happened in that game? The field goal was blocked. Remember the check down remember when the Raiders were going to go up by 9 and they checked down to Dante Thornton? Don't tell me that was a check down. That wasn't a check down. It was a check down. A check down is when you throw it short of the marker or the end zone. They checked down. They did not throw it in the end zone. Don't tell me that they would have won the game and went up by 9, which I said they would have, if Dante Thornton would have caught that ball and gotten the end zone. There was a corner right there coming towards him. I think if he caught a clean ball, he would have scored. He didn't, because if he would have ran 2 more yards, he would have been in the end zone. And then he would have caught it, and it would have been a touchdown. It would have been maybe. Are we going to stop this check down stuff? For years, you were all over Derek Carr for checking down. He did check down too much. Derek was an excellent player. Derek was very good. I thought Derek's flaw was a lot of times he checked down. Why is 3rd and 13 for this team 3rd and 40? Why can't we run 15-yard in routes and crossing routes on 3rd and 13 for a first down? We're going to check down Ashton Genty? Okay, all right. Remember I told you the only guy you can project down to is Brock. I'm not going to say Brock and Ashton. You can check down to Ashton on 3rd and 4 and check down to him because I think he can get you 3-4 yards. Throw the ball to the marker like Jim Plunkett once told me. Jim Plunkett told me once I threw it to the marker on 3rd down. He did because he didn't want to check down. He had Marcus Allen. Marcus was his guy to check down. How about Gannon? What would Gannon do on 3rd and 13? What would Rich Gannon do? I can tell you what he would do. The king of the pump fake. Watch me on YouTube. Hutt looks completely to the right. Pump fake. Comes over to the left. Tim Brown sliding over for a 14-yard gain. It was easy. It wasn't even hard because he had a pump fake. Chino's eyes are set on the receiver. Chino's staring down the receiver now. Chino's better than that. Come on. Gino's better than that. You know Gino's better than that. Do you know why he was signed here? Because he played for Pete Carroll. He was successful. He really was a solid player in this league. 70% solid player. Wasn't elite, but he's very solid. Better than anybody we've had around here in a long time. And he's playing poorly. And we know he's playing poorly, so I don't have to talk about that anymore until Monday because we know he's playing poorly. Now we're trying to help him. Let's help Gino. 702-365-9200. The monologue brought to you by our great friends at La Casa. I want to get La Casa in early tonight. Had a cigar last night. La Casa is beautiful. They have live music outside. See the weather last night? A little cocktail, little cigar. Went into the humidor. I needed some cigars for Bolitnikov. I bought a couple of cigars for the weekend. Mike, unbelievable. A couple of Raider fans were in there. La Casa Cigars and Lounge over at Tivoli Village. Let's get them in the monologue. Proud partner of the show. All right, we got Vince Sapienza coming up. He's our morning show host. We'll touch on the Golden Knights. That was a wild loss they had. Terrible loss. And we got a great team, though. I'm a Golden Knights fan. We got a great team. Wasted talent is going to be exceptional. And Lee Sterling coming up in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I still haven't started that questions.
Okay.
By the way, I always get burned by guys, so I'm not fully sure, but I believe, according to them, the last Raiders home game win was January 7th against 2023 against the Chiefs. That sounds about right, or
January what?
2023? I think it was.
No, we won home games last year. We left out the whole 2024 season.
That's why I didn't pop up.
Yeah. When was the last Raider home game we won? It was last season, which was 2024.
Wasn't the break?
Anybody know the last Raider home game we won? That's kind of weird.
It happens to me all the time when I'm on there with Peter. And I'll start to say things, and I'm like, wait, that's not right. Terrible. Okay, you're the president.
Korea.com. JT for the Black Hole, home to football's most notorious fans. The Black Hole Fan Store is now open Fridays through Sundays inside the world famous Golden Nugget
Patrick Graham
on Fremont Street. This isn't just a store.
Yeah, Patrick. I don't want to play Patrick Graham. I'd like to play Chip.
Okay, well, he's first, so I imagine.
Yeah, Chip should come after him.
Are you fully want to go past Graham, just so I know as far as, like, you're not going to want him at all?
I don't think I'm going to want Graham at all. Yeah, it's not about Patrick Graham right now, even though the defense is not playing great. I want to hear from Chip Kelly, what Chip has to say, and I think our listeners would like to hear from Chip.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's fine. I'm just letting it roll. It's him in real time.
Okay.
That's Chip.
Sorry, I'm going to need a couple of live reads, and you don't have to get them to me today. If you can just, so when I go like this, that means not wrap it up. That means to just record what I'm saying coming out of break. I'm going to need at least 2 or 3 of those every show I work with you. And they don't have to be done 10 seconds after the show. You can just flag them.
Yeah, that's the case. I'm probably just timestamp them and grab
them. Yeah, that's all. Yep, that's it. All right, how's the chat doing? We got 334 in there. You know, we had 800 people in the chat with Twitter on Monday. Now we got 334, which I think is a good number. But you know, people are bailing on me, man. I don't want people bailing on me.
Oh.
1914 Jaguars was the last win at home. What date was that?
I feel like that was towards the end of last season.
Pick up a piece of our Utah Lane to Gold Collection and do your yard holiday joy. Whatever your style, find everything.
December 22nd, 2024.
So Vince is 105. So
I believe it's 12:40.
Why don't we do a little Patrick Graham here? Can you go back to the start?
Yeah.
Why don't we go back to the start? We'll do that.
In and out of the bed, Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better performance and zinc.
Christopher has Gino with 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing.
Okay,
getting started.
that's ready.
Hims.com/joy. Start your free online user. Yes, you can access eating treatments, including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form.
And I'm going to do a live read coming out here.
Okay.
If prescribed, it ships free. And
Do you need that one? by any chance?
Yeah, I'm going to need it, but
options.
yeah, that's what I'm going to do live reads all show, but the ones I need, I'll let you know, like this one coming up.
Okay,
Yeah.
HMS.com/JOY.
Gambler's bonus hits again. On August 2nd, Candace hit 4 queens, clearing her Gambler's bonus 4-of-a-kind bingo card for over 60.
Coming up with, let's slow down a little time, but it's Pete on Stone Cold success against the Colts.
Okay.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste. Brewed with fighting spirits since 1925.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PT's, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
I thought he did a terrific job. Really, he played really strong run game. He was really accurate with his calls and his fists in the run game. He protected very well. He got in trouble on the last play, I think, of the game, but on a pass. But other than that, he played an excellent football game, and we're really proud. Couldn't wait to recognize him in front of the team. That he came through in a situation where you're following a great player in our program, and expectations are still high, and he lived up to them.
Pete, on Forsythe and what he was able to do filling in for Colt Miller. JT, back with you, our new client tomorrow, Aesthetics for Men. It's TMRW. Was there yesterday. Remember, this is a men's spa. For the men who are listening, I got the Hydrofacial. It was incredible. They just clean out your pores, your face. It's just, the system is so amazing. Fell asleep the first time I had it. This time was even more unique. They utilize a system built in to deep clean your pores, hydrate your skin, and bring it back to control. Designed for men who want real results without downtime. The Hydrofacial at tomorrow, TMRW. I think everybody should go check this place out. It's fantastic out in Summerlin, off Sahara, and you could kick back in these men's chairs and get whatever you need. If you want a jab to lose some weight, if you want to work on your hair restorations, whatever it is, it's a men's spa for guys out there, and I think you'll like it a lot. They love the show. They love Raider Nation, so go check them out. TMRW. Tomorrow, Aesthetics for Men. That whole crew over there was very cool. Had a really nice time. Yeah, Big D saying he needs a tequila transfusion. This was a skin transfusion for men, and it felt great yesterday as we get going. Lines are open. They should never have an open line, but we do. 702-365-9200. We're going to go out to the Intermountain Health Performance Center. Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator, speaking to the media. Okay.
From a pass rush standpoint, what do you guys think you guys need to do to improve on that? From a pass rusher standpoint, what do you feel like you need to in that area?
Pass rusher goes hand in hand with coverage. So, I got to do a better job of creating opportunities for the guys in terms of, just tying together the coverage and the rush. And then, and then it comes down to, those guys working together and win their individual battles when it comes up, whether it slides one way or the other, but really got to tie it all together. It's better on my standpoint.
Let's go to
You see, it has a live arm. Definitely has a live arm. He made a couple really good seam throws throughout the year. Has real good command of the offense in terms of the check system they're using. You can see him doing that. I thought they did a good job with that. And then the poise at the end of the game last game, saw that come through. Crazy situations and circumstances how they won, but it was just really saw some poise there at the end. The throw down there in the 4 minute or the two minute that turned into 4 minute was a pretty good throw on the sideline.
Do you think there's anything better out of pressure at this point?
A lot of the quarterbacks right now are doing a good job because they're so athletic. It's a little bit different than when I first got in the league, but there's so many guys that can make plays out of the pocket when the protection breaks down. I've seen him make the quick, easy throws from a three-step standpoint, getting the ball out on time. But a lot of the explosive plays have been with him moving around. So, you can see a combination of the two.
You're dealing with that as a defensive coordinator with quarterbacks with mobility. Does that change sometimes, whether it's a man look for you or a zone coverage look? And what are the
dangers of playing a man cover against that kind of.
Well, it depends on what type of man you're talking about. There's man where you might have a spy on the quarterback, which you're accounting for the quarterback. You have to do that because you're assuming the coverage players have their eyes turned away. Then there's man where, you might be playing with too high, and that, everybody calls that two man. That's when it gets most dangerous. That's when it gets most dangerous. So a quarterback like that might limit you from being able to do that. So you stay away from those coverages because you're like, oh, everybody's got their back turned. But, you definitely have to take it into account. And you have, in zone, you have to take it into account. And then you can't lose it when they scramble. But you can see he's doing a good job playing in the pocket. And then when he gets out, getting his eyes down the field and throwing the ball.
Calvin Ridley had a big week last week. What stands out to you about his game and what makes him a tough cover?
Just the, familiarity with him from previous years in terms of the speed, the quickness, the ability to get vertical into the defense really quick, whether it's the slants or the seam balls. And you can tell by how they're moving him around. Obviously, the intelligence in terms of how they can scheme him up. So he's one of those guys, I would assume that he's a scheme guy in terms of you try to put him here for a matchup. You try to put him here to stress the defense out. So, very talented player with good speed and quickness. And, he could beat you just like that. So you got to be mindful of that.
More varying. What have you seen him just get better each week?
He works really hard in the classroom. He's really diligent in terms of his pre-practice, in terms of working his technique. You're seeing technique improvement overall. And, he has the traits. He's long, he's fast.
Jesse.
All right. So we're really struggling at this channel here trying to get these things live. So we'll get back to that here in a little bit. That's Patrick Graham, and he had a lot to say there. He's not making any excuses. He's not making any excuses. As he said, he's just trying to put the team in a better spot. Now, I got an issue not with Patrick Graham, nor I don't think anybody should, but, come on, with the soft zone. So the soft zone is not working. And it's not working, in my opinion, because we have two young corners who have no experience, Darian Porter and Caillou Blue Kelly. We don't have Stephon Gilmore, and we don't have Marcus Peters. We don't have, Jack Jones. Jack was here. We don't have Jack Jones and Lester Hayes. We decided to go with Caillou, who I watched play with my son on the same team at Bishop Gorman, who was pretty much a practice squad player in this league. Loved the kid. How could I not? He played with my son in high school. Loved the kid. And Darian Porter, who played several years of wide receiver in college, not corner, not an all-American corner. He played, he's playing in the NFL. He was a wide receiver. They're trying to convert him. No problem with that either. But, what are you going to do? Play man? This isn't Mike Haynes and Lester Hayes. We're not talking about George Atkinson. We're not talking about a young George Atkinson before he played safety. He could play some corner. Willie Brown. So what the organization's going to have to figure out going forward, and I'll buy into it because I think they know a lot more than me, is are they going to go out and get really good corners like Jalen Ramsey, who was available? We had the money. We didn't want Jalen Ramsey. Why? I don't know. Maybe Jalen Ramsey's on the past his prime, but he's still better than Caillou. He's still better than Darian Porter. We don't have him here. So until we get a corner, and it doesn't have to be Charles Woodson, it's just got to be somebody who can play at a higher level, we have to play zone. Do we all get this? And then the zone is this zone where we let guys go, which fascinates me in sports. We're going to cover you up until about here, and then we're going to let you go. And we're going to let you go to the middle of the field. And we're not going to go with you. We're going to hope someone's there to pick you up. How's that working out? That zone's got to be tighter. It's got to be more vicious. It's got to be more sideline to sideline stuff. So with everything that is happening here, you got what you wanted. You got young players that you can build up who Pete has confidence with, who are good young players that he believes he can develop. But now we're talking about the developing of young corners in the NFL. Oh, boy. I've been around the NFL for 30 years. How many young corners have you seen develop? I did a podcast last night with Rod Woodson. Rod Woodson, he told me last night on our podcast, if you can please download it, Lay in the Wood. Lay in the Wood with Rod Woodson. I hosted It's All About Rod. Rod owns the NFL record for fumble recoveries. Holy crap. I think it's 33. Let me repeat that. Rod Woodson, who's not a top 100 player, he's top 25 ever, no debate. Eric Allen's a really nice Hall of Famer, my brother. Rod Woodson is a better accomplished football player in his life, probably than Eric, Charles, Willie Brown. I mean, we're talking about that level. He leads the NFL all time in fumble recoveries. I go, how'd you do it? It was amazing. He said, run to the ball. He says, if you run to the football, good things happen. Because we were talking about that Arizona game, and we were previewing, talking about some things, and the Arizona game came up. And the Arizona game, guys were just running to the football. So balls are coming out, flying all over the place. Guys are running to the football. I think we're running to the football with the Raiders. I know Max is. You ever seen Max? Max is all over the place. You know who else is great at running towards the football? Adam Butler. He comes and makes tackles 15 yards down the field. So let's get to the football, knock it out, and let's hope other people are there to recover the fumble. And I think the Raiders, they don't turn the ball over. They don't intercept the ball well. They don't cause fumbles, and they don't fall on fumbles. Wow. You got Pete Carroll and Patrick Graham. They're really good. I'm big Patrick Graham. If Patrick Graham was 4-1 instead of 1-4, I think he's gone. I think he leaves to become a head coach. So don't tell me I'm talking down about Patrick Graham. I'm saying on the flagship station, he is good enough to be a head coach in this league. And I think he was pretty close to getting that Jacksonville job. Lee Sterling's going to join us next. Lee's great. We want to thank everybody over at M Resort. They got a couple of big events coming up here. If you want to head on out to M Resort Spa and Casino, they have the Cinema Club on the big screen Friday, October 10th. Beetlejuice at 6:30 p.m. Who doesn't want to do that and take the kids? Friday, October 10th, the Cinema Club over at our partner, M Resort. They'd like you to come out there 6:30 p.m. for Beetlejuice at the M. All right, I'll give you Lee's number. One win over Tennessee, then a must. Don't want to consider otherwise. Yeah, that's what I think first and fourth. I mean, I got no answers if we don't win this game. This is, this game. This is the game on the schedule you got to win. You got to win them all now because you're 1-4, but this is a big one. All right, you can call Lee. We're ready to go.
Helping us get there.
Okay.
Leader, integrated payment processing, making things safer, more secure for businesses of all shapes and sizes. From the name of the
Big D, what was Lee Sterling last week? If he didn't tell me, it might not have been great, but I don't know.
Shitmore.com to get started.
1 and 2. Okay.
The University of Utah at City Tickets start at $15 for kids. Drops at 7 p.m. on Friday and Saturday.
Go. Little trade couple.
This is JT.
Great highlights for the game.
These new Volvo and Volvo Wedge first payment and 2.99% APR financing for 72 months through Volvo Financial Services on most new 2025 and 2026 models. Finley Volvo is discounting the 2025 demo.
You just take them for like 10 minutes, basically 9 minutes, or you just usually take them for about 10.
Yeah. It's usually the segment. It's usually the segment. If someone calls in and we want to get a call in, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your first qualified wager. Available about a sports app has a massive wagering menu with same game parlays, early cash out, and live in-play wagering on all major sports. Schofield, I love the WNBA odds boosts. Extra money on those player prop parlays. For info, rules, and see participating sign-up locations, visit Williamville.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
Dennis, to look from left. Fakes a long pass for Tucker. He's open at the 15 and shooting.
Down at the 11-yard line. Rodney Thomas stopped a touchdown, but the corner had fallen down, and it's a 35-yard pickup.
All right. Jason Horowitz on the call. We'll see him at the Torch. He's our first guest at the Torch for every game. Remember, Eric Allen, my partner, on the pregame show, will have his gold jacket, and he's getting his Hall of Fame ring at halftime. How cool is that? And my partner, when it comes to picking games, longer than anybody, is Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports. So, Lee, let's jump into it. I think it's one of the most unique games to handicap all year because we know Indiana's good. But we know Oregon's better, and it's hard to play at Autzen Stadium. Typically, you don't get recruited to Indiana to go play a football game at Autzen Stadium in that atmosphere. But I know they got the coach to get it done here. So we'll play at Oregon -7.5 versus Indiana.
Yeah, their coach is really good, and he's able to identify players in Persignetti that fit his system. And he found a quarterback, and he found a guy in Fernando Mendoza that fits in his system. But no one will give you this. So Fernando Mendoza, I saw one report this week to have him potentially being drafted first in the NFL draft. I'm not going to go that far. So on the road, this year, he played Iowa. They scored 20 points. They're going to need more points than that at Oregon, and that's a tougher place to play, tougher defense. On the road last year when he was with Cal, they got whipped 38-6 at SMU. 17-15. They only scored 15 points at Pitt, and against 2-10 Florida State, they lost 14-9. So he hasn't proven it to me yet. I think this Oregon team has the best offensive and defensive line in the country here. And Dante Moore, believe it or not, will probably get drafted in the first top 10 here in the NFL draft. I'm going to say Oregon's the right side. Quack, quack, Ducks, 38-28.
38-28. So at least you have Indiana showing up there on the road. Lee Sterling joins us at ParamountSports.com. Before we get to the next game, I'm going to really count on you this offseason in regards to these quarterbacks because my son, who's in that business, says this is kind of a light quarterback class compared to the last couple of years, Cam Ward, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels. So keep that in the back of your mind if you hear anything on these quarterbacks. We definitely want that. Let's go to Kansas City, -2.5 versus Detroit. What am I missing here? Kansas City just lost to Jacksonville. I thought they played okay against Jacksonville, actually. They could have won the game if Trevor Lawrence didn't put the whole city on his back here. And look, I think Detroit's got their offense back again, but Kansas City's clicking. Now Mahomes is getting players back. You know, you usually get 2.5 or 3 at home, so this feels like a pick 'em game. Chiefs minus 2.5 against the Lions. What side?
All right, so let's look at Detroit and how good have they been under Dan Campbell? As an underdog, they've covered 11 of the last 13. In fact, they have won and covered 21 of the last 25 road games. This is the third straight year they've started 4-1 or better. And since he took over in 2021, they've gone 51, 21, and 1 against the spread. That's 70.8%. That's far better than anyone over the last 25 years, better than the 2003 to 2007 Patriots, and even better than the 1999 to 2003 Eagles, which both went 66.2%. So I know they've got some injury concerns here at cornerback. Terrion Arnold been ruled out. Christian Fulton, probably a game time decision, but I just think they're more talented right now than Kansas City. That offense is too deep, too explosive here. The right team is favored. Detroit, 38-24.
All right, Detroit, 38-24, 38-24. That'll be easy to remember. Another great game you're giving us for free. We thank you at ParamountSports.com. Lee Sterling joins us. Tampa Bay -3 against the 49ers. I thought the 49ers were going to get waxed in L.A., even though they had 80% of the fan base there. It was a home game for them. I just didn't think Mac Jones could lead that team to anything, and I was wrong. I was clearly wrong on that, and I know what Baker Mayfield's been doing, but they're playing in a lot of close games, Lee. Tampa Bay, aren't they? You know, that Seattle win. Some of these games coming down to the final drive. Is their luck going to run out here?
Well, some people would say so, but I think Baker Mayfield has proven himself. Right now, he's a top 5 quarterback. Mac Jones, I mean, he looked like Joe Montana. The best time to go against a fill-in quarterback, not the first game. He's on a high. It's the second week. They get more tape on the kid. So San Francisco, you talk about losses here. They lost Bosa, a couple key receivers for game time decision. I mean, the list goes on and on. The offensive line, not 100% here. I think Tampa Bay at home is going to be a tough out here. Give me Tampa Bay here. 31-23.
31-23. Baker goes over 30. Baker beats the 49ers. And wow, right up your alley, right there in Miami, you're putting the Dolphins in your game of the week. I don't know if they get blown out or they put up a game against the Chargers. Tell us why you're leaning towards this game as one of your picks and how do we get it?
Well, both teams are missing a slew of offensive linemen, running backs for the Chargers. Dolphins are down to basically scab cornerback. So there'll be 65,000 fans there, probably, sipping margaritas, taking selfies, and that's Miami for you now. But you want to find out which side is the right side. I think I clearly know. Be one of the first 10 callers. Call 800-400-9741. First 10 callers, I'm going to give them the Chargers and Dolphins on me. Went 10-1 last weekend. College football in the NFL. The worst week we've had the last 3 weeks is 9-5. So you want to hop on board? How about this? Not October. We call it Locktober. There's games every day of the week now through the end of November. So you want to get through October 31st, Halloween night. Use coupon code SAVE100. Just $397 for our phone service. Just one place. ParamountSports.com.
What's this been, like 25 years for us with Locktober, man?
Like
you
that.
love this month, man. You cruise during this month. See you soon, my friend. All the best.
All right.
There he
Thanks,
is.
JT.
That's
Take care.
Lee
Be
Sterling. You got it. Lee Sterling. Q has him on tomorrow. That was brought to you by Remy Martin, 1738, the official cognac of the show here. And also what they do, which is incredible. They make all these great concept drinks with Remy Martin, 1738. Mix it up. Have a Remy sidecar, a Remy espresso martini, an old-fashioned. And how about Remy Martin, 1738 in a Manhattan? A Manhattan. When was the last time Ari had a Manhattan? That's a big shot drink when you have a Manhattan. That hour went by swimmingly. We're going to try to play Chip Kelly. We have Wasted Talent coming in. He's fantastic. And my buddy Vince Sapienza, big hour on deck. All right. As Big D tells me, go hydrate. I'm going to go hydrate, get some water for a second. Maybe my son can put up, we'll be right back or something here. We'll see what happens here. There it is. Thank you. Look at my son, man. He's a wizard. Anybody looking to hire a digital whiz kid? Put your email in the chat if you got someone in Vegas who wants a digital whiz kid. My son is the guy. Just give the email in the chat. We'll get your resume.
Homemade marbles to get your first New York style coal-fired Chicago pizza. Grimaldi's at 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check it out online at GrimaldiPizzeria.com. This October, Centennial Subaru, the largest Subaru location in Southern Nevada, needs to sell the remaining 2025 Subaru Outbacks. Qualified buyers can get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 60 months. That's right, 0% for 5 full years on one of the most dependable and adventure-ready SUVs on the road. Inventory is moving fast, but they're gone. They're gone. And remember, don't confuse them with the other guys. They're Centennial Subaru, conveniently located right on the US 95 and Road. There's a new way to get to the game. M-Ride it. M-Ride is the luxury concierge shuttle service. It's the same like this, right here. If you ride like a pro, M-Ride can take you out. Yeah. Legion Stadium. I don't know what to tell you. It's crazy. Taxi or rideshare lines. Ride like a pro. Ride it, and you
Here we go.
family bike yours.
All right. You have Vince's number?
Yeah.
Okay.
105.
Yeah, 105. Let me reset.
And then chips up and try to bounce around and make it quieter and squat on commercial equipment.
So do you want to play chip for a few minutes?
Yeah. And
All right.
Best I can do is just be attentive, and if it goes to the stupid ad.
I want to play chip when we need some time here. So let's not play him. I want to wait. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna like 5 minutes or so.
What's happening?
But yeah, I'll get them straight up at 104.
All this. Live comedy and magic shows Thursday through Sunday. $3 beers and shots every day. Juicy chicken sandwiches on Sundays for just $10. Free pay-per-view watch parties right now.
What's that?
Silver Sevens Hotel Exceed.
There we go. Everybody got me? We're ready to go. Messi Jesse. He should pump fake into double and triple coverage. The whole D would fall for it, and he throws into double, triple coverage. Gino's a really smart quarterback who's throwing too many interceptions.
Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
It's just we're gonna win a bunch, and I don't care who hears that. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. He's legendary. His track record speaks for itself. He competes every single day, and that's what I love about
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Yes, am I willing to play harder longer than the guy lining up across from the team lining up across from me? And if you're not, then I want to be in the space. That's where the Raiders will be for those. But
Excellence every day. And now here's JT the
We're back. And hey, tomorrow we got a live remote at Top Golf. Hey, can you please join me tomorrow if you're in Vegas? Vegas, baby, Vegas. Noon to 2, Modelo. My Bucket of Modelo Fridays takes me to Top Golf. Can't miss it. You know where it is. Vegas, Top Golf. Free parking. Come say hello. The Black Hole will be there. How cool is that? So let's have a Modelo tomorrow, or whatever cerveza you'd like through Modelo, and we'll get you all set up. We are at Top Golf tomorrow from noon to 2. I don't do many of these, but I love Top Golf. They got these big screens. It's outside. I think, are we supposed to get a little bit of rain today and tomorrow? What's going on there? Any update on this? I'm looking at my Apple phone. It says, ooh, okay, we got a 60% chance right now today. And then, ooh, tomorrow, a slight chance of rain, but it'll cool off a little bit. So let's go have fun. And we'll go hang out at Top Golf. And you can get a bay there and hit some golf balls or just check out the show. And, all we want to do when we do these remotes is get people to stop by. Just come by, see what we do, get a chance to say hello, get your picture with Gorilla Rilla, Violator, Our Lady of the Raider Nation, Senor. Senor has this big, big mug of beer that he walks around with his uniform on. So come see us. I'd greatly like to see you there. We're going to have remotes coming up at Grimaldi's. We're doing remotes for Remy Martin. So we got a lot more going on. Vince Sapienza will join us momentarily from Fox 5. The Golden Knights lost last night. They announced the signing of Jack Eichel to an 8-year deal, which is fabulous. These contracts, man, they're long. And did you see that Connor McDavid took only $25 million over 2 years to stay in Edmonton? He's basically playing for free. I mean, you got NBA guys. You got NBA guys making $45 million. NBA guys who all they do is chuck up threes and miss. And the greatest hockey player in the world is giving back to the city of Edmonton saying, I'm good. I got enough money. Let's go get better players. Yankees lost last night. Cubs win, but my Yankees are out. Surprised no one's called me today on that. I'm sad that the Yankees lost. I believe Aaron Boone needs to be fired immediately. I would have fired him this morning. He's a terrible manager. He stinks. He's awful when it comes to managing a bullpen. Bruce Bochy was so available. Remember when Bruce Bochy won 3 World Series with the Giants? 3. Then he sits out. He goes to the Texas Rangers. You know what they did? They won the World Series. He could have been the manager of the Yankees for the last 5 years. I think the Yankees with Aaron Judge would have won a World Series or 2. Aaron Boone is awful. He can't handle a bullpen. He can't handle starting pitching. All he does is listen to the people upstairs. Yankees are getting a lot of heat today because they bought into analytics. They bought into analytics, which is a way of saying we're going to go with the trends and what the averages say more so than our gut and how to play baseball. There's been a lot of balls and strikes that were missed so far in the playoffs. Next year, you'll have the automated umpire system, so you'll be able to get 2 challenges a game. So you're going to see a lot of that in the playoffs, right? There's going to be a called strike 3, and the manager's going to go, no, challenge it, because they're going to want to hopefully get a walk instead of a strike. It's going to be crazy next year when you see people gambling on baseball and they're going to lose their bet or win their bet because of a robotic umpire. That's coming. So for all the gamblers out there that really struggle to win, good luck with that. We've been spending all the week talking negatively about Geno Smith, unfortunately. I'm trying to make it positive because I think Geno's a good player. Look, I thought Gardner Minshew could win games. He beat Baltimore last year in Baltimore. It was the greatest 12 minutes of Raider football last year was Gardner Minshew. Oh, I didn't tell you today. I saw Aiden O'Connell. I was walking through the building. We finished Raiders rundown, and I'm cutting down a hallway. By himself, coming right at me, Aiden O'Connell. So I say, Aiden, how you doing? He goes, great, JT. I go, you coming back soon? Yep. Aiden looked great. Backpack on, going to class. Going from a meeting to a meeting. What a great guy he is. But it's Geno's team. Now, I've talked about benching Geno if he doesn't play better. I've never talked about benching Geno now. What do you think? I'm nuts? Yeah, Geno, this is Geno's team for now. Let's all put on our Captain Obvious hat. How much longer do you want to play him? Well, I think, they could play him all year long because they're paying him a lot of money. And you can play him and he'll play better. He's of course going to play better. He's got to play better. But if Geno doesn't win the Titans game, what do you do for the Kansas City game? I'd play him in the Kansas City game because he's got more experience. And the Raiders usually play kind of different in Kansas City than most teams. But then they go on the bye week, and you get a quarterback ready on the bye week. So what I think is going to happen is Geno's going to win against Tennessee. He's going to play well. Then we'll have a week of talking about Kansas City, which will be nice, because that'll be nice for Vince Sapienza. How great would the show be, Vince, if you, Clay, and Vinny have a whole week coming off the Tennessee win, getting ready for the Chiefs, which I always think at Kansas City is the biggest Raider game of the entire season.
Oh, JT, what we would do to have some Raiders radio talk with a dub. I made a comment earlier this week. We're already about a third of the way through what we experienced a year ago. Those 11 weeks with nothing but talking about, they did this, if they could just do this. But, as tough as it's been, and obviously the game in Indianapolis was rough to watch no matter how you slice it, right? The first time live, whether you were there, whether you were on TV or you watched the All-22 or whatever you did, it was rough, and there's no doubt about it. That being said, Jack Bech in the locker room yesterday said, there's really 4 plays. If you take 4 plays out of it, and it's not a woulda, coulda, shoulda, but it just shows you how razor thin these margins are. If Geno Smith doesn't take that sack in the red zone on the opening drive, right? Does that turn into a touchdown instead of 3? If Geno's read is the same, but the ball's not batted, and Jack Bech is open in the end zone, if somebody blocks on punt and our punter doesn't get killed, how different the game could have been, we'll never know. But that's how close this team feels. This team feels inside in that room, which is all that matters at the end of the day, as you and I know, JT. All that matters is what those guys feel right now, and they feel they're very close. They don't feel the score was indicative of how close they could have made it. Now, I know Raider Nation is going to sit there and say, we don't want to hear that. We've heard that for years. It's a new team. It's a new staff. And whether you agree with it or not, that's the positivity that they're living with, and they have to. Because what is the alternative? Are they just going to be negative and say, "Yeah, we suck"? We got 12 more of these. No, they're not going to say that. They're not going to treat it like that, and that's not in their DNA. So I do think this team is closer than their record shows, than that score showed against Indianapolis.
Vince Sapienza is our guest. Yeah, I'm at the point where if no one plays well, we've had 2 games where not a lot of people played well. Like most of the players on the team did not play well. That was the Commanders game, and that was the last game in Indy, which was that got off the rails badly. If we have a good game from Max and you lose 25-24, it's still a loss, but there's something to talk about. Max is intercepting passes, whatever. Last week was so bad that it was hard to even find any B-roll of some good play. And I interviewed the coaches, and he talked about Jeremy Chin. And Jeremy Chin had a couple of vicious hits that were legal. And I thought that was a good wake-up call for the Raiders. Like, put that on tape and show how Jeremy Chin is not giving in and attacking the football, because I thought a lot of the rushing defense, and especially the goal line defense, I won't call it soft. I just didn't think they were playing with their hair on fire, like really looking to make tackles behind the line of scrimmage. I thought they missed something last week, and I'm surprised they played so poorly.
Yeah, it's the first week, at least on our show, that I sat there and said, we're not talking about the offensive line this week, because it's the one unit that I can sit there and say was a plus. Ashton Jeanty was still averaging 4.6, 4.8 yards per carry. And I think when Pete Carroll sits there and says, how do we fix Geno? How do we fix the offense? How do we get this thing going? Run the ball more. And I think that's where it all starts with the team, even defensively. I mean, how many times this year already, JT, has the defense had to work with short fields, not getting the breaks that they should be getting? You look at the opening drive for the Raiders, 9 minutes and 50 seconds. You're thinking, beautiful. The offense is going to move. The defense is going to pick up where they left off against Chicago and have some moments and get after the quarterback and get after Jonathan Taylor. And outside of that opening drive, the Colts offense did everything they wanted. And a big reason for that is outside of Max getting double team, triple team, there was no push. And you said you don't want to use the word soft. I mean, I'll say it. It was soft at times. They just did not have push. They did not have another game-breaking moment from any other player. And yeah, Jeremy Chin had some nice moments, some pretty big hits that we'll talk about and we'll put on tape and show in the film room, saying, "Hey, look, let's do more of this." But it was nowhere near enough across the board. It can't just be the Max show, because even when it was a historic Max performance, like against Chicago, as you said, it was a loss. You need more. You need more from everybody, whether that's Jeremy Chin, whether that's Devin White, whether it's Landon Roberts. And Landon Roberts, we played highlight tape after highlight tape this summer of Landon Roberts and all his big hits. And while he's done a few, it's nowhere near enough of what this defense needs.
Yeah.
The defense needs more from everybody. Max likes to say 1% better, right? Well, that's across the board. That's not just him. And I'm not saying everybody has to have a Max virtuoso performance, but you need more out of everybody. I'm really curious to see if a guy like Darian Porter can get some more snaps. If Eric Stokes is back in that number one corner spot, I want to see more Darian Porter because this is a guy that has shown a lot of good tape on special teams. Now, can he take the ball away? You know, the big check box that they wanted to see him check was could he make tackles?
Mm-hmm.
Could he make tackles in the open field? Pete was really happy with it. Patrick Graham extremely happy with it. Well, the next box to check is can he cover? Can he take the ball away? This defense has to take the ball away. And we can talk about the offense not doing their thing. The defense needs to make stops. They need to take the ball away.
Vince Sapienza, Fox 5. So one more thing on the Raiders. You know, there's going to be a big game for our guy, Eric Allen. He's getting his Hall of Fame ring at halftime. That's a big deal. That doesn't happen around the NFL often. Only 4 players got into that Hall of Fame class. So you know, Jared Allen had his Viking. Sterling Sharp had his night on Thursday Night Football in Green Bay, and Antonio Gates with the Chargers. So now Eric gets his ring. He's also going to do it again in Philadelphia because he was an icon in Philly. When you think of Eric Allen, what do you think on this special, momentous occasion?
You know, JT, I want to talk about his numbers. I want to talk about his interceptions, his ability to not just take the ball away, but turn it into offense. I want to talk about the presence and how he shut down. But when I think of Eric Allen, I just think of one of the best humans I've ever come in contact with. And you've had a special relationship with him, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the beauty of Eric Allen is anybody he's come in contact with knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Right? I've said it since I've known him. He's always been a Hall of Fame person. The football pundits and the voters finally caught up to it, but it's rightly deserved. And I'm so happy for him. What he's able to contribute to football beyond his playing days with the analysts and what he does for Silver and Black, what he does for your show, what he does for my show, what he does for Fox 5. He's everything you want in a person. And in terms of the football, he deserves to get that ring ceremony twice because it was long overdue. I sat there and yelled and screamed as you did during this past summer specifically. His numbers haven't changed. He's had Hall of Fame numbers for 19 years. They haven't changed. It was long overdue, but I'm glad he'll get his due, and I can't wait for the nation at Allegiant Stadium to give him the rousing ovation that he richly deserves.
Last one for Vince Sapienza. It could be an extended one on the Golden Knights. So I'm out last night with a buddy, and we're in a nice establishment, and I'm looking up, and I see it's 5-3. And I'm like, okay, because one of my best friends, my former producer, got the job with the Kings now, Sam Batesh. He's the post-game host. And he's texting back and forth because the Kings are not known for goal scoring. They're not. They're gritty. They're tough. They at times get good goaltending, but they're not a great goal-scoring team. And I just heard Mark Messier say that opening night when the Kings got beat at home, that the problem is they're a good squad, but they don't score a lot of goals. I look up, it's 5-5, and then I watched the shootout, and it felt like the first 2 guys who shot were Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky. What happened? I mean, VGK gets a point, but wow, was that an ugly way to lose when it looked like they were on cruise control?
Okay, a couple things here. So yeah, the Kings aren't this dynamic scoring offense, right? Mm-hmm. But for some reason, when they play the Golden Knights, they're one of the best scoring teams in the NHL. Right. Bruce Cassidy says, I don't know what it is. Last year, they scored on us a ton. And it happened again last night. The other part of it is the Kings did play Tuesday night. And Bruce Cassidy, was kind of giving us a little Nostradamus saying, they're going to have their legs under them. They've played 60 minutes. They know what they need to do now. So it may take us a minute or so to find our legs. And that's exactly how this one played out. It was 2-0 after 1, 3-1 in the second before the Golden Knights found their footing with the power play, and Pavel Dorofeyev looked like the kid of last year, leading the team in goals with 35. He gets a hat trick in the second period. And JT, if you want anything to be excited about, Jack Eichel and Mitch Marner are going to be absolute theater and art on the ice. They showed a small sampling of it, 6 points combined. Between the two of them last night, just a taste of things to come. We're going to see it for 8 more years after Jack Eichel's contract extension. I'll call it October hockey is what we saw in the third period defensively from a team that doesn't have Alex Pietrangelo and won't have Alex Pietrangelo anchoring their defense. I think different guys are picking up minutes that Pietrangelo otherwise would be playing. And so they're learning on the job in that respect. But this is a veteran team. I have no worries about the Golden Knights. I'm going to stick by what I told you 2 weeks ago. This is a top 4 team by the end of the season. Anything less is an absolute failure.
Well, finally, I got a couple of nights a week, Monday, Tuesday, where I work till 11 o'clock at night, but then I got to be up early over by the Raiders. Are you in that mode now? Are you going to be doing live reports post-game from T-Mobile and then on Raider Nation radio in the morning?
Yeah.
What's this looking like? What's this looking like?
Yeah, I was live last night on Fox 5 at about 11:20-ish with my full Golden Knights report. And, you know how it goes. You can't just go straight to bed when you get home. You're still coming down from, all the pomp and circumstance. So, I got a solid 3.5 hours. I had to do a little extra prep for the show this morning when I got home last night. So, sleep is something that'll happen in the summer, JT. So we just power through. We pour the espresso. The boss at home makes sure I'm hydrated with the caffeine, and away we go.
You got a great one at home, great kids, great family. I'll see you throughout the weekend. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, JT.
Vince Sapienza, Fox 5, our morning host here, the morning tailgate with Clay Baker and Vinny Bonsignore. The hockey team is incredible. He mentioned the Marner connection with Eichel. So if you're a season ticket holder for the Vegas Golden Knights, and there are many who listen to the show and go to games, what a great experience to go to see this hockey team. Oh, my God. I mean, to go have a cocktail, a beverage, and then walk over into that hockey game, and then to see that level of hockey every home game and come out of that, it's a good thing. UNLV players, I'm going to the UNLV game. Buddy came through, said, hey, you want to go? Absolutely. I want to see the Rebels play. And then we got Eric Allen's night on Saturday night before the game Sunday, and Biletnikov's tomorrow night. And my Yankees would have been playing tomorrow night in Game 5 in Toronto. So I would have been asking Freddie and Angela to leave me a TV, or I can watch I can watch on my phone on my YouTube TV, but I don't want to be that guy at the crab feed with my phone open. But I would have been if the Yankees were playing Game 5. I don't have to worry about that. I've been dying to hear Chip Kelly because I think Chip's got a lot of explaining to do in a good way. I want Chip Kelly to be super successful. He just met the media at HQ.
Chip, yesterday, Pete said in order to help get Geno in the rhythm, he said that you guys need to run the ball more and incorporate more play action into the offense. Do you feel like that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, I mean, that's what our game plan is every game. And unless we get it, we talked about it in the Chargers game. When you get in the second half, that skews. But, we had 25 attempts last week in the game. There was real balance in the first half of the football game when it was a close game. I think it gets out of hand. So when you look at some of the numbers, I think we had 25 rushing attempts and 36 passing attempts at the end of the day. But in the first half, it was really even.
Look at the red zone is over on Chase. It just seems like it's just execution or just
we talk about it all the time in the red zone. It's a great point. Is no STPs, no sacks, no turnovers, no penalties. And when you look at the drive, we had 2 sacks on protection issues that we need to pick up in the protection, and there was a communication issue that we need to get that straightened out. And then we had the one where, Geno made the right read, the ball's being thrown, and it gets tipped by the defensive lineman. It goes up in the air and it turns into a turnover. So of 3 of those 4, there were 2 sacks and a turnover. So 3 of the 4 drives, there were STPs, and we talk about it all the time. You can't have STPs down there. You can't have sacks. You can't have turnovers. No penalties, and that's on us. That's for us. We have to be able to execute better. We have to be able to put ourselves in. Our guys as coaches have to put our players in position to make those plays. But those sacks are killers down there because once you're there, you have 3. But you don't want 3. You need 7s. And you need to be greedy down there. So just settling for field goals when you get in the red area, because we drove the ball well in that game. But when we got to the red area, we're coming away with 3s and not 7s. And against a good offense like Indianapolis, then, trading 3s for 7s, you're not going to win a football game.
The defensive line is a lot of what we hear is the strength of the Titans these last couple of years. What unique challenges do they represent?
Well, I think Jeffrey Simmons is as good a 3 technique as there is in the league, and his numbers will back it up. He can cause a lot of problems in there. And it's unique. Sometimes you're playing against a really strong defensive end and you can slide things to him and do all that. But when you have a guy right smack dab middle in the defense, he can cause some problems. And I think Denard Wilson, their defense coordinator, does a good job of moving him around and not letting you always just say where he's going to be. Sometimes he uses a three technique. Sometimes he plays the nose for them. So they move him around and put him in some different spots so that I think everybody on our team knows who number 98 is. He's been a force in this league for a couple of years now. And it starts with him. And then they've got some other guys around him that are really good players and can rush the passer. And their edge players are impressive and athletic. But it really starts with him up front. And he's as good a three technique in the league. He may be the best three technique in the league.
We've heard you almost every offensive lineman, but not much about Dylan Parham. And it felt like the last 2 weeks he kind of felt himself a little bit. I mean, did you feel like he's figuring it out a little bit?
I felt his aura and I felt his presence. No, I think you're 100% right. I think Dylan in the last two games has really starting to come into his own out there at left guard and starting to get comfortable, with Jordan on one side. And then he had to make an adjustment because he's had Colton next to him for the first through to the end of the Bears game, and then to make the transition with Stone next to him. But I think, obviously now all of a sudden he's the older guy on the left side when before he was the young guy on the left side because Colton was there. So, but I think you're 100% right. I think in the last two games he's improved his play and really excited to kind of see him continue to develop and grow at the left guard spot.
Check that 3 receptions, all 3 went for first downs. Also showed well in the blocking game. Is he earning a bigger role as we go along here?
Yeah, everything's earned here, and that's Pete's whole mantra about competing. And for Jack, he's an inside receiver, and one of the issues with Jack, if we really are high on Jack, is that you also have Jacoby in there as your inside receiver. So he's starting to carve out a little bit of a niche for himself. The ability to move Jacoby around and play him in a couple of different positions, and then frees up the ability for Jack to come in and kind of take his spot. So when you only dress 4, and I think in some games 4 or 5 wideouts, then they're all going to contribute. They all have to contribute and play. And really, it's Trey and Tuck, and then after Trey Tucker and Jacoby, then we're kind of spinning them behind him and seeing who can fit. And Jack's done a nice job when his number's been called.
Running game and being more balanced. Is there any other way to get Geno more comfortable? So he's
I think besides the one throw in the second half, Geno was really comfortable. The pick in the first half, it's a pick and it goes down in the books, but he made the proper read and the ball was going to the right spot and got hit by a defensive lineman. So I think sometimes not all interceptions are the same. You got to kind of look at where they are and how they did it. I thought in that game, you look at that first drive, we had a 15-play drive that got us down there, but it was the sack that knocked us out of it. It wasn't the quarterback that knocked us out of it. And in the next drive we drive down there, it was a tip pass by a defensive lineman. We got to get his hands down, and that's not Geno's fault either. I think when you get into the second half, you had the one interception that I think we can put him in a better position as a coaching staff in those situations. But besides that, I think Geno's playing really well for us.
On the back end of that, something Pete said last week is that a lot of these interceptions are really more on timing and not being.
Did you just say Geno's
how much
playing
of your
really
offense
well
would you
for
say
us?
is based upon pace and timing, and how much better will this
Just
offense be?
click the time on that. Click the time right there on that. And if you can get it for tomorrow for your show, I would play that heavy on your
If
show.
it's a quick game throw, the line's
I'll
not
take
setting
it.
as deep and they're attacking the defensive lineman and the quarterback's drop as such. So, you hear about them taking a 3-step drop. When you're taking a 3-step drop and you're making breaks at 5 to 8 yards, and sitting down. When you start to get into the intermediates, then you're starting to get to your 5-step drop. So every pass play in the NFL or in college or in high school is a timing deal. You're always trying to match the drop of the quarterback with the protection to the depth of the routes that you're running. So there's a timing aspect to all those things. So it's just the more familiar we get with them, But this is the same guy who was ripping the ball all over the place in the Patriots game. So, I'm really excited about Geno. I'm really excited about his future, and I think he's a hell of a quarterback. It depends on the certain play, like what you call, but I don't think Geno's holding on to the ball. So no, I don't think he needs to get the ball out quicker. That's not the case at all. No.
What does it mean to the offense to have Mike Mayer back, especially not only just as a receiver but as a blocker?
Yeah, everything. I mean, we've always considered Mike a starting tight end in this league, and we're fortunate with Mike and Brock that we have 2 starting tight ends in this league. So to have both of them out, was a kind of a different deal for everybody. For Geno in his comfort zone of where he is a tight end, and for me in our comfort zone where we are a tight end. But to have Mike back, I think he's played really well in the other 4 games that he played, and to get him back in this one is because he really didn't really play in the Commanders game. So really the 3 games he played, I thought he was really, really good. So we're excited to get him back, and we're going to need him against Tennessee.
Wow. Okay. That was part of Chip Kelly. Wow. So I got to go back and listen to that again, Ari. I have to do my job. He said that he thinks Gino's playing well. Other than, I'm surprised by that. Now, listen, what he said at the other end was how good of a quarterback Gino is. I'm 100% behind that. I think Gino's a good quarterback. Gino was playing badly. Gino was playing poorly. And that's the OC going up there telling you he's playing well, or at least some of it. I gotta wait to hear it again. I gotta wait to hear that again because he's the OC. He's watching the tape. He's calling the plays. If Coach Carroll and Coach Kelly say that Gino's playing well, I would say no. He's not playing well. He's playing poorly. If they said he has the ability to play well, 1,000%, not 100%. So that is interesting to me because I don't think Gino's playing well at all. I think he's playing poorly. But the OC just said he's playing well in certain categories of that. I don't see him running. I don't see him reading defenses. I don't see him getting in rhythm. I don't see much. But I know he can play well. God, isn't that complicated what I just said? It's pretty easy what I said. I'll give you an example, Ari, in radio. You got really good radio hosts. You work with Q. I think I do a pretty good job. If we have a bad show, I don't think I have bad shows. Some are better than others, but I don't think it's bad. Like, I don't go home and say, oh, my God, I had a bad show today. It was just terrible. I never said that in my career. But I could say it's not as good as I could be. Maybe I could be a little bit better. That's all I'm saying about Gino. But I'm going one step further. No, I'm saying Gino's playing bad, and I'm using the word poorly. So anybody else who thinks he's playing well, okay, I don't see that, but I encourage you that he can play really good coming up here. And I didn't think about that all the time with Aiden, who I saw today. I can't tell you that Aiden's going to play great every game. He's just too inexperienced. I can't tell you that Gardner Minshew is going to play. He was a career backup. With Gino, I can look you in the eye at the torch and say, I think he's going to play well. And then if I'm wrong, you know where to find me. If I'm wrong, I'm on the radio the next day. Tell me. We're brought to you by Grimaldi's, hands down my favorite pizza. Today would be a perfect day for it. I mean, that coal-fired brick oven pizza. Grimaldi's got 4 locations in the Valley, Summerlin at Boca Park, the Grand Canal Shops at the Palazzo, South Rainbow in Southwest Las Vegas, and in Green Valley on Eastern. Grimaldi's our partner with the $50 Grimaldi gift card. We'll give away one tomorrow. Grimaldi's, it's the best pizza I've ever had. All right, Wasted Talent is going to call us momentarily,
Gotcha.
and we will put him up.
I'll be right back. I
Yeah, take your time.
30, but I mean, I'll call. Yeah, I gotta go back. I was looking at the captions. I just don't know what he said. I was trying to get distracted at the moment.
I mean, where the Raiders are right now, and they're very thin line, and they continue to make mistakes that they're making. They're just not going to give themselves a chance. So I think that first and foremost, what I want to see get cleaned up.
Morning tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m. on Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m.
All right, Wasted Talent, man. Here he comes.
How's fun will always bet on black? Isn't there a trip to see?
Looney says it's pretty good. My podcast we just did. Can everybody please subscribe? And young son of mine, put that in the chat, the JT and Looney podcast. Can everybody in there please subscribe to that, please? I would appreciate that. The podcast is right on my Facebook at JT the Brick. If you're on Facebook, JT the Brick, you'll see the JT and Looney video podcast. And then we have an audio one too. Yes.
Cracking open with music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
If you've been in a motorcycle accident, remember, it's not about the injury, it's about the recovery. Hi, this is Paul Pata from Paul Pata Law. You know, motorcycle accidents can be complex, and that's when you need an attorney that understands the unique challenges of a motorcycle accident case. At Paul Pata Law, we'll guide you through the journey of recovering physically, emotionally, and financially. Check us out at paulpatalaw.com or call us at 702-707-3000.
Guys, it's time to look sharper, younger, and more confident. This is JT the Brick from Raider Nation Radio. I trust the certified team at Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men in Summerlin. They'll guide you through every step, whether it's cutting-edge weight loss, hair restoration, or advanced skincare treatments. It's about real results you can see and confidence you can feel. Book your appointment today at tmrwformen.com. That's tmrwformen.com.
Hey Jeff, how's the new job working out?
Really sucks. Terrible boss and the paycheck is even worse. I gotta get a new job.
Truck you.
Wait, what?
Truck you.
You don't have to curse at me.
Dude, you should check out Truck You CDL training. My brother got his CDL license in 4 weeks and now he has a new career making great money.
Okay, I'm listening.
Truck You offers small classes with night and weekend times available. They will even help with paid programs. Check them out. Truck, the letter U, LB.com. Truck You.
Ready to hit the road with a new ride? Let's have culture.
Jay Jones, name by any chance? Huh? Raider Nation Radio, who's this? Oh, hey, what's going on? Good. Not too much, back in about a minute or so. Right on with GT. Thank you.
Check out that. So what did that all?
Okay, he's there, ready to go.
Does that say his name?
It says Jay Jones, yeah. He also has a long sorry. Oh, you got it good. I was going
Yeah, get in there. Get some food. Once you get us going, though.
Well, I was more trying to get pictures of Johnny. It's a wacky.
Marcy Van calls 911. Takes the Southwest Gas from a single location. Gas lines can be varied or remember to call 911 and Southwest Gas. This October, your headquarters for
I don't know what it says, but
I don't know. Did Chip Kelly say Gino was playing good? Did I hear that? You guys were listening and I heard it, but I was kind of focusing on some other stuff.
Either way, he's not very reassuring in these questions to me. Like, I don't feel very reassuring.
I mean, if a coach sees something in a player, I'm all right with that.
No, I agree. It's the potential that he can be a great quarterback. He was just not.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by the Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
I think just being an all around player. Even though getting the ball, being able to do things with the ball, but also when I don't have the ball, running great fakes, running great routes, and, being able to protect the quarterback in pass protection.
Ashton Genty, got to get him going. I thought he's had a couple of good games. When he doesn't get hit behind the line of scrimmage, he's a hell of a player. Hey, we're brought to you by the Black Hole. They got a lot happening. It's a home game. Just go to theblackhole.com. And prayers go out to Black Hole DJ and brother, rest in paradise, DJ Bumpin' Beto Navarro, as you know, was a legendary member of the Black Hole, a DJ, countless events with him. He lost his battle with cancer. Cisco and Mark Jones, and especially Cisco, reached out to me, and we want him to rest in heaven, Beto Navarro, for the impact that he had on the Black Hole. This is a big one. They're all big when we lose a brother or a sister. And Beto Navarro, may he rest in peace. And the fact that he passed away September 30th is a tough one for all of our friends in the Black Hole. All right, Wasted Talent joins us. He's fantastic. His podcast is big. He talks to a lot of Raider fans. And I'm kind of turn it over to you because I know what you do and you talk to the fans and you have a high level of respect for this organization, but you get right to it. Why is the team playing so poorly? Why are they playing at a level that they played at in Indianapolis as we wait for the Titans to come to town?
I mean, the name of the game is turnovers, JT. I mean, when you have a bend don't break defense and a team that has some front end talent and has greats like Max Crosby on the defense, there's not a lot of depth. And when you throw interceptions in the red zone and that lead to points, it's backbreaking, it's soul crushing. The defense doesn't really have a chance to rest. And then special teams also. The special teams unit has been, it's been very surprising, right? Because the Raiders, if nothing else, throughout the years, we have been a premium special teams unit, always. And lately, it has not been that way. And I think a lot of that's attributed to Michael Mayer being out. You know, we had the block field goal at the end of the Chicago game, and then we had some miscues at the end during the Colts game, losing AJ Cole. So it's all bad. I mean, you know, when you have a situation where you're turning the ball over more than you're taking it away, and then your special teams is rough, that's what's going to happen. You know.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it. And follow the podcast at Wasted Talent Raiders. You know where to find it on YouTube. So a couple of things here. Do you think it's a loyalty thing to Geno? Because I think the loyalty was the right reason why Geno came here. He was loyal to Pete Carroll. Pete was loyal to him. Chip raved about him. I was in a production meeting with Chip for a preseason game. You should have heard him talk about it. And Geno hasn't played up to his talent level yet. I'm surprised by that because I know what Geno can do in typical Geno wins. He could throw for 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception, or 2 touchdowns and an interception. This 9 interception thing is mind-blowing to me because I just don't think he's seeing the field correctly. What are you seeing when you break down the tape?
Well, I'm in the exact same thing. There were a couple of times where particular, Dak Best was open. A lot of times, his eyes, what I can see is just locking in on one receiver. And I think, that's part and parcel of the reason why, Pete Carroll and, Chip Kelly, they're not, going after Geno publicly. They're supporting him because, Geno has had a really, really rocking career as far as from, going from a starter to a backup and being on multiple rosters. And I think that there are some players that are motivated by just tough coaching, hard coaching, and some other players kind of need that support to kind of feel like the coaching staff supports them and that they have their back. And Pete Carroll has definitely been loyal to Geno. You can tell that there's a real relationship there on and off the field. And I think Pete wants the best for Geno. But, if I'm being honest, just from my purview, you cannot continue to turn the football over like that. You just can't, because this team and the other guys on this team, they're doing their job. They're working hard, and everybody has a job to do. It's a certain level of professionalism that we expect as fans, as we expect that as players. People, you expect that. We all expect. We expect for people to go out there and to perform at the highest level. And when that's not happening week after week, there has to be accountability measures in place.
So what do you think the accountability would be if he doesn't play better? I'm assuming he's going to play better, and I've been wrong, and I always admit when I'm wrong, and people pointed out I thought Geno would play better. If he doesn't play better by the Kansas City game, after the Kansas City game, what do you think happens?
I think he has to go to the bench. I mean, it would be hard from a coaching perspective to hold everyone else accountable if you don't hold the leader of the offense accountable. You have to. There's no metric into where you can win a football game if the turnovers continue. Now, this is the thing for me. I think this week is the week that is going to give us the story of what kind of season this is going to be. Tennessee is a team that, when you talk about the Raiders being, a 1-4 team, Tennessee's probably been one of the only teams in the league that hasn't played as well as us. They've played it worse. They have a rookie quarterback. And they have a laundry list of players that are super important to their defense that are on the injury list. They're their most important player. Simmons, he is on the injury list, and we don't know if he's going to play. It's Thursday now; he's still questionable, right? So that's a piece of it. So the Raiders are going to have to go in there and get it up. For me, if Geno turns the ball over this game, I sit him down this game. I can't wheel him out in Kansas City with him turning the football over. That's the one thing, and this is the thing with Geno Smith. For me too, JT, I thought that Geno would play a lot better because of the fact that he's a veteran quarterback, because of the fact that he has a lot of confidence and he has a lot of talent. But, look, we know in sports, there are times where guys go through things mentally that we don't see as fans. We don't see as pundits for the Raiders. We don't know what they're going through personally. I'm not putting that on Geno. But I will, and I know he wants to play well. And that's the thing. Like, when we get upset as fans, and I tell it to my audience all the time, I never discount the human element when it comes to a player. You never know what they're going through, right? And I don't know if Geno's going through anything, but I know he's taking his hard because he's a competitor. But he has to turn it around because the thing is, he's really on pace to throw 30 interceptions this year.
Yeah.
That's a lot. We don't need a baseball season here. We don't need a 30 for 30 season right here in football. We don't need that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Wasted Talent is our guest as we wrap it up. Really good content from him. Make sure you follow him on all his social media platforms. So we handled Geno. We've handled all that. Let's go to the defense, where I think Max is playing at a really high level. They're double, triple teaming him. What are you seeing on defense? Jermaine Pratt is gone. I'm not in the locker room, but it's captain obvious why he's gone. He didn't buy in. He was a problem. They got him out of there pretty quickly. Have you seen anything other than Jeremy Chin in the last game? Because we're rolling out two corners with little to no experience. Stokes is coming back. Is there something other than Max that you think is working well on this defense for Patrick Graham and Pete?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about Harry Porter, I am blown away by how well he's done right off the bat. I mean, this is a guy who didn't really have a lot of snaps in college. But most of the guys that the Raiders drafted, and I noticed Spytek and Pete Carroll, they drafted a lot of battle-tested players in college, guys who played a lot of snaps. But he was one of the guys that really did. He made a transition from wide receiver, defensive back in college, but he has so much talent, and he's so big as a corner. And it's like when you see him, sight unseen, he's an impressive athlete. And I'm glad that he's starting to get the notoriety and the reps that he needs to hopefully turn into a corner number one eventually. But he's a guy that I've been very surprised by. He's played very well for me. And, I just need for the defensive line, right? Because everyone else besides Max Crosby, I need for them to support Max because this guy is playing out of his mind this year. And I know from the stat line, it does not look like he has all these sacks. I think sacks are a great stat, but I think sacks are an overrated number. Like with me, when I want to see how effective a defensive end or a defensive lineman is playing, I look at pressures. How many times you bat the football down, tackles. Max has been everywhere, and I just need for Tyree Wilson to step up. I need for Adam Butler to step up. If those guys can step up and support Max to where he's not the only one kind of in every single play, wrecking every play, this defense can be special. But the thing is, Patrick Graham spoke on it yesterday. The secondary, and hopefully we get Stokes back this week. If we can have that along with Porter, they're going to be able to give the pass rush a little bit more time to do their job, and hopefully that happens this week.
One of the several reasons I want to have you on the show consistently, which what we've been doing, is I think you're very calm, you're guarded, but you're very honest. But you talk to fans on a different platform than I do. I got a YouTube channel, you do too, and we got you on radio here. What are the fans saying? What do you hear with your conversations on the fans? Because we're the flagship radio station. We are not going to put people on this channel that want to say fire the coach or talk down about the owner. So knowing that, what can you tell us about what the real fans are saying about their concern for this team going forward?
I mean, the concern for the team going forward, there are people that do say stuff, like, oh, fire. But, to me, and that's one of the things that kind of make me upset when you talk about, making a change in week 5. It just doesn't make any sense, right? And then Pete Carroll has been a gentleman throughout all of this. Like a lot of people, and I don't know if I should say this, but a lot of people are not discounting the fact that there were people that were interviewed for this job before Pete Carroll, and they didn't want to be there. He does. So for that, I'm going to support him. And for the fact that this is a man that has done a lot in the National Football League. We know he can coach. It's just you have to give a coach the time and the latitude to institute their program. And when I think about Pete Carroll, think back to the 90s. Think back to when Dick Vermeil took over the St. Louis Rams. The first 2 years were a little rocky. Right. And I don't necessarily think it's going to be that way here, right? But he was like, I think 4-12 the year before they won a Super Bowl. But he was a master coach, and he was able to get his program instituted, get a lot of talented players there, trade for Marshall Faulk, and look what it became, the greatest show on turf. You got to give Pete a chance to do his job. And also, what my audience is saying, a lot of people are concerned about the direction of the organization because of the age of the head coach, right? But the thing for me is we got to live in the now, right? We got to live in the now.
Mhm.
We got to allow Pete to do his job. And also, we have to, let John Spicek do his job.
Right.
Like he has to get another draft. He has to have a free agent period. Like, we have to be patient. Some people don't want to hear that, but when you don't have a young franchise quarterback on your roster, the timeline is a little different because you have situations where, you have to kind of figure it out. You have to figure out whether the guy you went got free agency fits. You have to figure out if the guys that were here previous to this organization fit into the program that they're running now. There are a lot of things that do not get solved in 5 weeks. I'm sorry. To me, a lot of people are saying they don't want to be patient. I'm definitely willing to be patient, especially the first year of the head coach.
Nicely said. Tell everyone where they can find you on social media and YouTube and all your platforms.
Wasted Talent Raiders on X, Instagram, and also Raider Nation Unlimited on YouTube. Wasted Talent Raiders. JT, thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. There he is. Wasted talent. Someone should hire that guy. I'm not saying here or whatever. I don't control budgets or anything. Someone should hire that guy. Period. I have an unbelievable track record of working with people in this business for 30 years, mostly producers, when people have gone on to big producing jobs. I run a solo show. I don't have a lot of co-hosts. I'm not like some of the shows on TV that have 7 co-hosts now. I saw 9 the other day on one show, 9 people on the air at one time. That guy should be hired somewhere to talk football. He's very good. And I just like him because he's very calm. He's not a freak out, lose your mind podcaster where every alert says, the world's coming to an end. Tune in to me in 10 minutes. The world's coming to an end. I have breaking news. No, guy's just like, hey, man, be patient. He's Pete. It's not working out really quick right now, but let's do it right. The guy's good. Guy's good. I like when people are good and they get an opportunity. He's taking advantage of whatever this opportunity is because more people are going to hear him, and hopefully more of his audience will hear me, and I appreciate that. Mike from Jersey. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, JT. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
I just want to change those gears a little bit because with the Yankees, if I could, for a couple of minutes.
Yes.
It's the same circle every year. Everyone's like, oh, there's always next year. No, there isn't. Not as long as Hal's in charge. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same situation. We're going to be screaming. It's the front office. Hal's got to come to a reality here and realize that this is not working. But I think he's just happy that he made the money, he filled the seats, and they made the playoffs. And I'm sick and tired of watching